How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my very own transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 12. So yes, Game Week 11 has not ended, the nightmare has not ended just yet. We still have Spurs taking on Chelsea, which is going to come up tonight. But I'll be giving you guys the update to my overall rank at this current stage. Then the team selection coming up on Thursday, I'll give you guys the final rank. But spoiler alert, it's looking like a red arrow. Now I'll be going through all that Game Week 11 goodness as soon as possible, then turning the attention to Game Week 12 where we have 2 free transfers and some upgrades and some switches can be made. So if that's something you guys are interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So let's go over a quick review of Game Week 11, going player by player, discussing where things went wrong. As you guys can see, a red arrow was on the cards. So that red arrow has kind of rejected the work we did in Game Week 10. We're currently sitting back around the 890k mark, which is not where we want to be at this stage of the season. Now don't worry, it's not the end of the world if you guys had a red arrow. If your rank isn't looking too good, still a ton of game weeks still to come up. And basically everyone had a bad game week, to be honest. So as you always say, it was a good week to have a bad week, and that bad week was going to be 24 overall points with a game week rank of 6.4 million. But as mentioned, 2 free transfers to try and correct this red arrow. So in the comments down below, how's your game week currently going? If you guys have Madison coming up, Udogie, Pedro Porro, Heung-min Son, your rank will definitely improve. But for my own personal team, only the South Korean for tonight's game against Chelsea at home. He is quite highly owned, definitely not a differential, but any points will help in Game Week 11, so fingers crossed he does well tonight. But the 24 points were thanks to the other starting 10. I'm going to start off on our bench first, and some interesting talking points actually came. So the first one was going to be the Brentford second goalkeeper Strakosha. What ends up happening, Flecken apparently picked up an injury. He was subbed at halftime. So remember when we said we're taking a punt on Strakosha because Turner was going to lose his place anyways, and maybe Flecken ends up getting injured. Now there's been no confirmation from Brentford about what the injury was or how long he's going to be out for, but I guess there might be a chance that Strakosha gets some games in the short term. Also talking about Matt Turner, he lost his place at Nottingham Forest. That was probably after the mistake that afforded Mo Salah that goal at the end of the game, but he was going to lose his place eventually. So yes, the punt for Strakosha might have actually paid off, going for the cheaper goalkeeper. Maybe we get a Game Week 20 double Game Week goalkeeper, but that might be too medium term. We then have Archer who returned to the lineup for Sheffield United, had an absolute banger of a goal as well as maximum bonus points. So if Heung-min Son decides to have a night off, it actually might not be the worst thing in the world. So if you guys, I guess, are getting Archer off the bench, that's some jammy bench points, and that might be the difference between a green and a red arrow in Game Week 11. Other than that though, kind of got the benching decision right. Gabriel with 2 points, Charlie Taylor with only 1 point. So overall quite a low scoring game for our bench. The low scoring did continue though into the starting 11. Our starting goalkeeper Areola ended on 1 point. So yes, Strakosha only played 45 minutes. He managed to match the points of our actual goalkeeper. And then West Ham defense continues to be quite disappointing. But if you guys do recall from my team selection, I had no expectations for the West Ham goalkeeper. I was hoping for some save points at the end of the day, and he conceded 3 to Brentford. I guess the only good thing was that he only afforded Mbumo to have 1 assist, and I guess that's the best he could do. But now let's move on to our back 3, and starting off with our lowest scorer, it's going to be the nice 0 points from Matty Cash, conceded 2 goals, then was subbed off before the 60-minute mark with an apparent shoulder injury. So he's kind of a big concern at the moment because, as you guys all know, Aston Villa have great short-term fixtures, and overall, yes, he hasn't got us FPL points, but there's still quite an attacking asset. So Matty Cash hasn't done much for our FPL teams, except for maybe Game Week 10 when he was subbed off before Villa conceded, but no attacking returns recently does make me slightly worried. But let's just see what happens with Matty Cash throughout the week. Villa do play in the European competition on Thursday, so let's see if he's back fit for that. Then our high scoring defender as well as one of our high scoring point scorers was going to be Gay from Crystal Palace with a nice 5 points. Now, unfortunately he conceded a yellow card, so that meant that he was going to be on for some bonus points, otherwise you might have been looking at a few more. But that Crystal Palace defense continues to impress, and nice 5-pointer from Gay in the centre-back department. I'll take those points every day of the week. The next option was also quite disappointing. It was Tsimikas. I guess Luton did end up scoring. Tsimikas was on the pitch though. But how you can view this is that he started the game, got a yellow card, and lost the clean sheet to Luton. But was it a surprise that he ended up getting benched? I don't exactly know. I always knew that Joe Gomez could be playing that left-back slot, especially with Trent inverting. But I thought Tsimikas was fine for the Premier League games. But as mentioned, at the end of the day, he lost the clean sheet. But on a different day, started the game, then came off for Joe Gomez, and then maybe the clean sheet would have been intact. But if you guys are looking to buy Tsimikas, I guess now we do worry about that rotation, but still a good option if he ends up starting. Now let's go over the midfield department that will accompany Heung-min Son. The first player, Mo Salah, only ended up with 2 points, so I do feel sorry if you guys ended up captaining him. What would have happened is on Saturday, you would have seen Erling Haaland end up blanking, only getting 1 point. You would have been super pumped for those Mo Salah points, and what ends up happening, he blanks against a pretty poor Luton side. Now you have to feel a little bit sorry for Salah at the end of the day. He assisted that Darwin Núñez open goal miss, so the points dodging was pretty insane. But still, quite a frustrating game, I think, for Mo Salah. Didn't end up getting that many chances, but he should have ended up with some more points. Then another premium asset also ended up blanking. It's going to be Bukayo Saka with only the 2 points. Relatively kind of quiet game. Yes, it was a tough game for Arsenal against Newcastle, but I thought Saka might have been more involved, and his attacking stats over the prior game weeks have been simply terrible. So yes, slight concern there, but I guess he is a premium asset at the end of the day. Pretty consistent, and I expect him to improve over these easier fixtures. But I do think it's going to be a bad week if Mo Salah and Saka both end up blanking. Pretty consistent returners, so we as owners are pretty unlucky. My luck did come in with Jared Bowen though, a nice 7-point appearance, just loves to score away from home it seems. And this 7 points seems like a massive haul. So now looking back on it, because Dayvy ended up blanking, I guess he did have a good performance in game week 10 though. But if Jared Bowen can continue to improve, I'd definitely be happy that I picked him. Then the last option, my differential, I was slightly disappointed. I didn't have much expectations for a 5.0, but Adingra only got 2 points. And it's the second week in a row that he started, but no attacking returns. Now as I said, no expectations there. He's a very cheap kind of midfielder, definitely was a punt to look at. But fingers crossed Cole Palmer doesn't do anything tonight, because he was the other replacement. Just don't know what's happened with Brighton at the current moment, aren't really attacking. That was the one thing that was going for them. Yes, the defense was bad, but the attack was pretty decent. But that simply hasn't been true the past 2 game weeks. Now there's still some great fixtures coming up, so fingers crossed that he still continues to start, as unless we can use that he's benched, I can't drop him before Sheffield United. Now the biggest disappointment is going to come from our forward department, the first player Erling Haaland. If I told you that Man City were going to score 6 goals, you'd have definitely backed him with the armband. That's exactly what happened, but he ended up blanking. Now he actually did pick up an injury in that first half and was subbed off at halftime, but at that point Man City still had scored 3 goals. So yes, everyone ended up captaining him basically, but still would have loved some returns from my captain. And when you're going to score 6 goals and you're going to get nothing, I'm going to be quite disappointed. But yes, I guess it's a little bit easier to take than maybe a Mo Salah blank. Definitely more people ended up captaining him, but his effective ownership was still pretty good for some Camsey returns. Then our final option was going to be Ollie Watkins, who only got 2 points. Aston Villa were held to scoring no goals in their game, and that was quite a surprise to be honest against Nottingham Forest. So yes, another week that we have broken Ollie Watkins it seems. At least Diaby didn't get any returns, as then I'll be regretting going for the more expensive Villa asset. But don't you know, it seems like the wildcard has definitely broken a couple of these teams, a couple of these assets, as they were returning before it, but since bringing them in, they've been blanking all the time. But as mentioned in the comments down below, what's your team looking like? Who do you have to play tonight? Do you have Maddison, Pedro Porro, and the Son triple up? Your rank will definitely improve as I expect Spurs to put on a good performance, or do you have someone differential like a Palmer? Hopefully that rank isn't looking too bad, but if it is, don't worry, it was a pretty terrible game week, and hopefully game week 12 is going to look better. So talking about game week 12, let's go over our team selection. I always like to show you guys the context of my team before talking about the transfers, so let's do that right now. I'm going to start off on our bench, and the bench this week pretty much kind of picks itself. We've got Strakosha against Liverpool. Even if he's going to start for Brentford, I'm not going to back him. Liverpool and Anfield are a different animal. We then have Archer against Brighton away, not really confident of him getting any returns, even though Brighton have been pretty bad defensively. We then have Tsimikas against Brentford at home. This is a good game on paper from an attacking point of view, not a defensive point of view, and with Tsimikas' rotation, I'm just going to bench him. And finally, Taylor against Arsenal, definitely not going to be playing him, as I expect Burnley to concede quite a few. So our goalkeeper of choice will yet again be Areola. Now he does have Nottingham Forest at home. This is a better game on paper, but with Forest's attacking form looking pretty good, I'm yet again not expecting a clean sheet. But out of the upcoming fixtures and the past fixtures, definitely one of the easier ones, so I do hope for some FPL points from our goalkeeper. Then our back three is going to be Matty Cash against Fulham, Gay against Everton, Burnley at home for Gabriel. So all home games for our defense. Now Matty Cash is the big one, as mentioned, a shoulder injury got him subbed off early in that fixture, so fingers crossed he's back for game week 12. Really do want him for this game. Fulham at home is a great one on paper. Defensive and attacking returns could be had, and maybe finally he repays our faith. Other than that though, Gay and Gabriel, both better selections in my opinion than at Tsimikas, as both those games could be clean sheets. Then our midfield department is where the Camsey will lie. If it's going to be Saka or Salah is yet to be seen. Currently I'm on the Egyptian, as he's been a bit more consistent. But between Brentford at home, that's definitely the harder game than a Burnley at home. I just worry about Saka's previous attacking form. Otherwise, Heung-min Son could be an option against Wolves away. That's a great game on paper. And at centre forward playing out of position, he might be quite enticing. So let's just see what happens tonight. I will confirm my Camsey in the team selection coming up on Thursday, but for the time being, I'm going for the Egyptian. Then our last two midfielders, it's going to be Jarrod Bowen against Nottingham Forest. This is a great game on paper, but he's not been scoring at home, so I actually wish this might have been an away game. But still, pretty confident in Bowen getting us some returns here. I just hope the same could be said about Adingra. But against Sheffield United at home, I'm not going to be dropping Adingra to the bench or transferring him out at the current moment. Yes, he might play on Thursday in the European competitions, but even if he comes off the bench, this is a great fixture. So touch wood, but the midfield 5 does look pretty decent. If all these players could end up starting for their respective teams, I'm sure of some points, and hopefully this is better than Game Week 11. Then our front 2 will stay the same. It's me, Erling Haaland and Ollie Watkins. Watkins definitely has the better game. It's Fulham at home, and the reason we're not captaining Erling Haaland is he has Chelsea away. So yes, a tougher game on the cards here. Chelsea have actually been defending pretty well this season, and at this point, we don't even know if he's going to start on Sunday. So just monitor what happens in the kind of upcoming game. They're playing tomorrow in the Champions League, but I'm pretty sure Erling Haaland will be rested, as City should comfortably win that game. But the problem lies here. If every injury was kind of wiped out, if all my players started their respective games, the starting 11 looks pretty decent, and therefore the transfer out might be pretty boring. But what you guys can do is pause the screen right now, predict what transfer I might be making, or what move would you do if this was your team? While you guys are at it, comment down below what your respective transfer plan is, and if you guys need any help. But going on to the transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 12, and as mentioned, if all my players weren't injured, I would have a pretty respectable team, but at the end of the day, there are 2 injury concerns. The first one, Erling Haaland, but I do think he'll be back for the game against Chelsea. I believe he'll be rested in the Champions League coming up tomorrow, and it seems like he'll be returning to training fairly shortly. So at the current moment, I'm not really worried about Erling Haaland. Yes, if he was out for kind of a number of weeks, I might look to take him out, but please remember, there is an international break happening after Game Week 12. So yes, between Game Week 12 and Game Week 13, there'll be a 2-week break, so even if Erling Haaland misses Chelsea, he'll be back for Liverpool, and that looks like a comfortable game at the moment. The player I'm slightly concerned about though is going to be Matty Cash. He has Fulham at home, Spurs away, and then Bournemouth away, so would have really liked him for this Fulham and Bournemouth game. But at the current moment, no concrete news on how long he's going to be out for, and that's why I'm fine holding him for the time being, see what happens on Thursday, and then if he's going to be injured, we'll be taking him out. So if Matty Cash is going to be confirmed out for Game Week 12, I think he is going to be a transfer out. Yes, I could probably play at Tsimikas in his place, but I'm not really confident of him starting. So let's look at some other replacements. So the first option I want to talk about is going to be Estupiñán. Now Estupiñán is another injured player at the current moment, but he has been training with the team, at least from last week. So it's only a matter of time before he's back on the pitch. And the reason I'll be going for the Brighton defender is if he's guaranteed to start this weekend because they do face Sheffield United, which in my opinion is a locked-in clean sheet. So this move heavily relies on the fact that Estupiñán is back and basically confirmed to play on the weekend. Otherwise I could go for the cheaper Lewis Dunk. But Estupiñán definitely the better option to go for, the more attacking option, but I guess Dunk has the better expected minutes. So this transfer is more of a risky one definitely, but I can see myself doing it if, as mentioned, Estupiñán's going to play on the weekend. Now another option I could also go for is going to be for Udogie from Spurs. Now it looks like he's going to be playing tonight against Chelsea, or at least those are the Twitter rumors. And then in Game Week 12, he has Wolves, Villa, and then Man City. So yes, on paper, not the best fixtures, but I guess I could bench him when Spurs do face Man City. But the thing I like about Spurs is they're quite a strong defense, at least from the stats point of view, and Udogie loves to get forward. So more of a kind of higher ceiling than a higher floor play here, definitely more of a punt option, but you know me and how I like my attacking fullbacks. Now there's more of a sensible option, but unfortunately I can't really afford him. It's going to be Saliba from Arsenal. If you guys know, the Arsenal fixtures in the medium term are simply outstanding, and the defense has been rock solid with very good stats. Now my only concern is Matty Cash is currently 5.1 million and Saliba is 5.2, and I don't really want to go for someone like a Zinchenko as I think he'll be rotated. So if I want to do the Saliba move, I'll have to make a downgrade elsewhere with my second free transfer, and that's going to be the very boring transfer of Charlie Taylor to Baldock. So Baldock returned to the squad in the starting 11 this weekend. He's currently 3.8 million, Charlie Taylor's 3.9. You guys do the math, there's my extra 0.1. Now the sad thing about this move is that if Matty Cash and Haaland are both fit, this might be the move I'm forced to do because I have 2 free transfers. So instead of kind of burning a transfer, I might get that extra 0.1 in the bank, and while Charlie Taylor might be a better option than Baldock is, they'll probably be on my bench most game weeks. So yes, this move I'll probably be doing either if I want to burn a transfer basically, or if I want to do the Saliba transfer, which I'm currently leaning towards out of all the defenders. But obviously if Erling Haaland will be missing the upcoming game week, we do have a decision to make. Yes, I could bench him, but that might not be optimal. So let's see what happens in the upcoming European competitions, the Champions League, the Europa and the Conference League all coming up from Tuesday all the way to Thursday. But while you guys are at it, what are your planned transfers for the upcoming Game Week 12? Comment them down below, and if you guys need any help, I'll try and reach out. But this is basically going to wrap up the video, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And I'll be seeing you guys for the ultimate guide and also the team selection coming up later in the week. But I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers, bye.